Now then, so I mentioned in my last little video that I did when we went for a ride out that I was impressed with Calimoto and the route that it had taken us, and I thought it deserved me doing a little bit of a video to review Calimoto. Now, I discovered Calimoto probably 4 or 5 years ago. A friend introduced me to it. At that time, the free version of Calimoto, the one that didn't require a subscription, gave you a fair comprehensive package that did most things. All it did limit really was some of the information it recorded for you and the area that it gave you maps for. So I think it gave you maps for up to a 90-mile radius back then. One of the downsides, and at the time I wasn't in a position to do anything about it, was, as with most navigation apps, it really needed some sort of speaker or receiver inside the helmet to pick up the audio instructions, because it is hard work when you're riding a bike to have to keep looking down at a screen to see where the next turn is, etc. And a couple of times I'd use Calimoto but missed the turns because I was too busy concentrating on the road, as I should be, and ended up with Calimoto. It very cleverly reroutes or recalculates the route, which gave us some interesting rides as well, to be honest. So I sort of fell out of using Calimoto and went back to basically seat of the pants navigation, as in riding routes that we've ridden before, or just taking potluck and hoping we didn't get too lost. But started looking around, because we're starting to try and ride more and trying to ride further, but wanting to avoid the main routes, main roads, motorways, things like that. We like to get onto the back roads, onto the twisty bits, and explore places we've not been before. So I started looking at Calimoto again. I'd looked at various other navigation apps, and to be fair, most of them were no better than your Google Maps navigation. Gave you a couple of options, motorways and non-motorways, but generally gave you either the shortest or the quickest routes, and that was it. Whereas with Calimoto, which I'm going to show you in a minute, you get a bigger variety of options on what you can choose. So I thought we'd have another look at it. Unfortunately, you couldn't use it without signing up for a subscription with the option of cancelling after 2 weeks trial. So I bit the bullet and paid at the subscription, and to be fair, when you think about it, it's just shy of £50 a year, the subscription here in the UK. It's £1 a week. It's not a lot, so as long as they don't start asking for extra payments for various things, at this moment in time, and with what we've done with it so far, I'm quite happy to pay that. So as long as they don't start messing about with it and restricting it again, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, for now, I must admit I am falling back in love with Calimoto, and we've done 2 or 3 rides now using it as the navigation method, and once again discovered roads within a 10-mile radius of where I live that I've never ridden before and didn't know really existed. So okay, so we're going to go on a ride in a minute, a short ride to one of our regular destinations, just to demonstrate and see what it comes up with as far as routes, etc. We're going to go to Revs and Relics using Calimoto, which is somewhere we go to regularly, and we've got 2 or 3 options on the routes we take, and all of them are fairly twisty, but we're interested to see if Calimoto comes up with anything different. Okay, but before we do that, I'm going to have a quick look at the app, if I can get the camera set up properly, and just show you a little bit of the options that you've got and how it works. It is fairly simple to use, to be fair. So we'll have a look at that and then we'll go for a ride. Okay, so we'll open up the app. Okay, and it gives you the options there for a new ride. You can also click on that to go to saved or planned rides. All right, or there is a settings and profile option, but we'll go on to the rides option. All right, if you click on new rides, you've got the option of a planned tour. So if you were doing, say, a 2 or 3 day tour, or a tour with several stops, but longer distances. You can set up different aspects. You can plan the different legs of the tour using that. Round trip, you can put in, if you want to do a round trip, you can decide what length of the trip you want to do, and then what direction you want to travel in, to be fair. North, east, south, west, or all points in between. On this, it's set up for starting at current location and heading in a random direction, and the route's set up for winding. Okay. Or the last option, which I'm going to demonstrate on the ride, is you just decide to go for a ride. You can click record your trip, and that'll record some of the speed, elevation changes, lean angle, things like that, some of the features that this does for you, but also record the route. So if you do a ride and you think, I enjoyed that, I'd like to do that one again, you can save that into saved trips, and you can ride it again using the Calimoto navigation app. Okay, but for us, we're just going for a single destination. We're going to go to Revs and Relics, so we're going to put that in. There you are, it's already in saved searches because I've obviously looked at this before. So then it comes up with the option of adding that. Then gives you the option as to whether or not, if you're going to go to Revs and Relics and then go on somewhere else, you can set that as a veer point. You can set it as a start if that's where you're planning on starting your ride from. On our ride, we're going to set that as the destination. So there you go, it's calculating the route, but also you can scroll through the menus, start point, current location. You could say that you were starting from somewhere else if you wanted to. The other option that it gives you are twisty, winding, no motorway, and fast. So if you want to use Calimoto just as a navigation aid, like you would your sat nav, you've got the option of fast route, so that takes you by the most direct route. If you don't want to go on motorways, but you still want to get there as quickly as possible, you've got the no motorway option. The app tends to default to winding, so that's twisty roads, A roads, B roads. Or if you want something a little bit more interesting, and add a note of caution here, I've put twisty in a couple of times, and it's taken me down some tracks that you maybe would have wanted to avoid if you'd have known how steep or tricky some of them could be. But it's all down to what you're looking for. You may have noticed as I keep altering the options, the route will alter. So let's put fast in. You'll see the line changes. Okay, but say we want to go via twisties. Okay, so we've got twisties in. The red lines come up showing me the route. It's saying that it's about 28 miles. Doesn't give you an estimated time as such. Alright, and once we're ready to start, which once I'm on the bike I'll show you, you just click start navigation, and there you get the voice commands, which I've got set up into my headset so that I can hear them. From what I've seen, what I've seen so far, you may pick up the instructions in the helmet on the microphone while I'm out riding, but you may not. In fact you can see it, I'll show you. I bought this in-helmet headset. It's just a single speaker for my left ear, microphone, so if I do need to give voice commands, I bought that to go in my helmet, and I can hear quite clearly the voice commands as I'm riding. So yeah, very clearly, and it saves having to keep looking down, but as you can see from this down the right hand side here, it's got the basic instructions, so you've got an idea where the next turn's coming, etc, etc. Obviously it orientates depending which way you want to have your phone mounted on your bike. I've tried both, and they both work just as well, shall we say. So So yeah, that's it. So we'll save that ride. So ride options, okay, you can put in if there's any road closures or whatever, so that it'll bypass them. Alter some of the settings. You can find petrol stations, save locations, take photo, find biker meetups, whatever. Okay, if you want, you can pause the ride or you can end the ride. I'm going to end the ride for now, because obviously we're just looking at how everything works. But it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. I have managed to use it with my gloves on still, but it's probably easier, especially in the setup stage, to take your gloves off. Okay, end ride now. And there you have it. Okay, so let's go and see how it works on the ride and see where it takes us to Revs and Relics. Okay, so there we've got sort of the menu screen for saved rides or rides that we've done. So we go into planned rides, and we've got 2 planned rides. The one that we want is this one to Revs and Relics, just a short ride. It's a ride we do regular, and what I'm doing, I think I've already mentioned, but what we're doing is seeing which way Calimoto takes us compared to the way we would normally go. Because our ride out to Revs and Relics does take some back roads, it's quite a twisty, scenic route. So let's see which way it takes us. So we click on the ride, click on showing maps, and then basically just click on start navigation. Hopefully you'll pick it up in the helmet from the microphone, but yeah, we'll find out. Okay, I'm going to finish getting kitted up, get my helmet on, and let's follow this route, see which way it takes us. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I can see straight away from what I can see, what it's showing on the map, that it's not taking me the way that we would normally go, so it'll be interesting to see which way Calimoto is going to take us. So we're setting off in totally the opposite direction to what I would set off if I was going to Revs and Relics. I would be going the other way. So see where we go. So it's taking us towards Cawthorne then. Well, yeah, it's taking me down one of my favourite little, I won't really call it a rabbit run, one of my favourite little back roads. I use this quite regular coming home. And you've probably seen it in some of my previous videos if you've watched them. Brings out at Silkston Church, where there's the monument to the children of the darkness, the children that died in the flood back in the early 1800s. One thing I am noticing about the Triumph, now I've done about 1,000 miles on it, thereabouts, is the suspension and the seat and everything is starting to pad in quite well. It's a little bit more forgiving than it was to start with. So as everything just loosens up a little bit. You've got the Silkston Church, and there, oh, somebody's crashed into the wall. The monument to the children. Ah, it's a bit bad. 2 nice little pubs down here in Silkston. Well, one's now a restaurant, I suppose, more than a pub, which we used to use quite regularly. We've got the Red Lion there, and then you've got what is now called the Bells Steakhouse, which does some decent meals. Again, it's taking me on one of our regular sort of routes. If we're heading out towards Strines, towards Derbyshire, we can get this way. Out towards Wortley, which you may have seen in some of my videos. Bit of a tricky junction, this one. Okay, this is a way that can't remember last time I went this way, but we'll see where it takes us. Straight across here. Usually if we're heading out anywhere we go right at this junction. The last time I came down here I'd got lost with Phil. We were trying to get somewhere and we came down this road sort of unexpectedly, so but again, an example of some of the types of roads that using Calimoto, especially on the twisty setting, these are the sort of roads that you find yourself sometimes riding. It's about exploring. Okay, vague idea where we are. So already it's taken me on a road that I only vaguely know and I don't use regularly, and it's taken us in a direction I wouldn't normally choose to head to Revs and Relics, which is, like I say, it's what it's all about. It's about getting off the beaten track or finding new routes to get to familiar places. It's very easy to ride to places and go the same route again and again and again, and yeah, sometimes that can be have an attraction, but for me, you know, it's about, we say it's about the ride, and it's about exploring, whether it's in your backyard or at the other side of the world. Okay, so we're now coming down past, turn off in there into Wentworth Castle, coming down past Wentworth. No, it's not. Again, we would normally turn right here, but I'm going to stick with Calimoto. So it'll be interesting. This roundabout is quite a complex junction, so it'll be interesting to see how Calimoto copes with directions. Yeah, it's taking me, well, I think it ought to. See, on this roundabout we would take exit 3. Again, because they've altered all this junction. But again, we'll see which way it's taking us. Island Common. Interesting fact, boring facts I suppose maybe for some, but the shop on the corner, this shop to us, that's the barber shop to our left, used to be the local Kawasaki dealer back in the 70s. And that's where I bought my first bike from, although not Kawasaki. It's taken us through Harley and Wentworth, so around the Harley bends. Okay, leaving Harley, but onto the Harley bends. It's very narrow at the end of here. Again, an old, probably medieval, late medieval village at the end. When I was younger, I used to get told the story that at this crossroads there is a stone cross, or the remains of it now. There's not much left. But I used to get told the story that during the Wars of the Roses, Richard III and his army came through this village, through Braithwell, and they stopped at that crossroads. Don't know where they were going or coming to or from, but they stopped at this crossroads, and Richard III gave a speech, stood on the steps of the stone cross. Whether or not it's actually that old or not, I don't know. Something I've never tried to research, and maybe I should, but some of the village, or the layout of the village, is definitely of that age. There you can see it in the centre of the road on the right. What's left of it. When I was younger, it was still obviously a stone cross, although again still in a very poor state. It stood a bit taller back then. One of the other features of Calimoto is it can track your ride, and it can record the route you take, so you can share it with friends, or you can save it for another occasion if you want to. If you find a route and you want to repeat it. So I'll probably use that feature on the way back, and I'll go back more or less the way that we would normally go back, which is basically the way we would normally come as well. We don't we usually return by the same route as we come, but so yeah, I'll take us back via my route, and then I can compare it with the Calimoto route. So, yeah, Revs and Relics is just over the brow of this hill on the left hand side. Yeah, loading one up, or whatever. Here we go. Revs and Relics. So there we go, ending the ride. And that's done. I'll just switch the phone off for now. So, do I think the Calimoto app is worth the subscription? Do I think it's a decent tool? To be honest, I'm falling back in love with it. I may have said that at the beginning of the video. And I begrudge subscription apps normally, but it works out £1 a week, and the 3 occasions I've used it so far in the last 2 weeks, it's taken us on interesting roads, and on roads that I would not have found without the app. So in all honesty, it's a big thumbs up from me for Calimoto. Well done. Upgrade it, yes, don't change it too much, but hopefully I'm going to carry on enjoying it. So until then, remember, I am the Barnsley Biker. Till next time, I'll see thee.